Now, BAM also develops a policy, and earlier on you gave me a very interesting, I think you call it the CSR wheel, and it looks like a wheel, and it's divided up into all sorts of different sections. Would you like to say a little bit more about BAM's policy and why you've introduced this one in particular?
I mean, I suppose the first thing to say on all of these different areas that we're at different stage of the journey. So for some issues around health, safety and well-being, and to a certain extent environmental management, we are, very much at the forefront of some of those initiatives. So, they're very well integrated within the day-to-day aspects of our business. But for each of those different areas around the wagon wheel, there are different owners within the business. So, for example, we have a health and safety director who who manages the implementation of our health and safety policy and our health and safety management system. Likewise, in environment, we have a head of environment who manages and has been very instrumental in rolling out ISO 14001, so the environmental management system for environment throughout our entire business.
And in your own role?
And my role as head of CSR is to, if you like, to provide the strategic framework for CSR to start to pull together some of the best practice, because we're doing lots of really fantastic stuff in all of these areas, but what we haven't been so good at in the past is actually pull together centrally a lot of the good practice so that we can actually share that information across the business. For example, we've recently signed up to the government's and the RAP commitment to reduce waste to landfill by half from 2008 to 2012. So for us to be able to achieve that, it's not just about measurement, but it's about identifying, for all of the different wastes that produce from our sites, how are we managing those at the moment? Where is the best practice, both internally and externally? It's about working with external organisations like RAP, perhaps working with other contractors.
So taking that as an example, reducing waste being delivered to landfill, would you at that point immediately set up a director to involve this, or a champion of some sort, in order to make sure that you meet a target, or is it and do they have a role in writing the policy to make sure that they're on board with it and so on? Or?
I think what was critical in terms of that commitment was that we had board level engagement, so we had board level sign off. Our environmental manager will actually be responsible for meeting that commitment, but to do that he will need to work with many different people across the business, engage with people across the business, get people at a site level engaged, and get them and sort of raise awareness of why this is important to us. There's quite a lot involved in making these things happen. So it's, yes, you need to have the commitment from the top, you need to know what you're trying to achieve, but at the same time you need to bring people along with you.
And is there any sense in which policy can go up from the ground upwards towards the directors? Do you have that sort of
Yes.
availability?
Yeah, no, absolutely. I think that's been particularly the case in some of our community engagement work. At a site level, there's been a lot of different activities with local schools. A lot of our sites raise money for local charities, but increasingly we're doing more work working with local schools on supporting curriculum development. So working on things like arts and media, so working with local schools to develop posters. One good example of this year was around World Environment Day. We had a company-wide initiative where we...
Yes, I noticed that in your report.
That's right, yeah. So as part of that initiative, how we started off that was to invite a number of schools where we were engaged to develop posters around certain themes, and the prizes were wind-up MP3 player, so all very much on theme, sort of in terms of energy efficiency and energy reduction. So some of those initiatives, they do come from bottom up, but some of them also come from, sort of from a more strategic perspective.